Hello and welcome to the first weekly MTG of 2023. In fact, it's our first day back in the office. Producer Sean and I just got here this morning, and we're starting nice and easy today. We're going to do a Dominaria Remastered pack opening. So we're going to open some collector boosters, some draft boosters. That's it, because that's what Dominaria Remastered is. Dominaria Remastered is releasing next week on the 13th. So ahead of that, we thought we would give you just a little sneak peek of what it's like to open up some of these packs, give you a little taste so that you can decide what you'd like to purchase next week when Dominaria Remastered releases. I'm super excited for this set because if you've heard me say it once, you've heard me say it a dozen times. I'm old. I've been around the game for a while, and so this set has all the nostalgia for me. I opened up some test packs earlier, and just floods of feelings, plus a ton of really cool cards. So we're going to open that, and we're just going to start. We're going to get to it. We got two collector boosters and a draft booster here, and there's my face. We're going to try to avoid putting cards under my face, and we're just going to hang out and open these up. We're going to start with collector boosters. So before we do that, we do have a graphic that shows what's in a collector booster. So there is also an article on DailyMTG.com called Collecting Dominaria Remastered and Product Overview that also contains this, if you need this for a handy-dandy reference. But it comes with one foil or retro borderless rare mythic. That's what I like to call the fancy slot. The borderless rare mythic, there's a retro rare or mythic, there is a foil retro or borderless common uncommon, two retro or borderless commons and uncommons, one foil rare mythic, two foil uncommons, five foil commons, and one foil retro basic land, plus a foil double-sided token. All right, so we're gonna get to it. We're gonna not look at my face as much because I'm tired because my twins aren't sleeping, but that's my problem. I'm drinking a lot of coffee, so I'm gonna try to not talk super fast while going through this. At any rate, I'm glad to be back. This is a nice first show to have back. I enjoy these pack opening shows and just hanging out and talking. So let's see, foil. That is the foil double-sided token, and yes, okay, so that means that these are the packs that are kind of in the reverse order, so we're gonna flip from the back. Here's our foil token. We got an elemental and an insect. Boom, boom. I really like that elemental art. Pretty cool, thanks. Put the tokens over here. Oop. I already saw that. Well, it's a pretty good one. Pretty good start. Foil, retro, sneak attack. All right, but we're gonna start from the back here with the foil commons. So there are 5 of them. The Seer, Goblin Matron, pretty good common there. Phyrexian Rager. Polluted Mire, Scourge Prospector. Those are some fantastic commons there. All right, then we come to the uncommons, Gerard's Verdict, another sweet one. Spite and Malice. All right, we're gonna get through this one pack, and we're gonna talk about each of these slots, and then as a whole, and then we'll open them a little bit faster. So there's the foil retro basic land, and then this is the 2 non-foil retro or borderless commons or uncommons. So we got a Turnabout and a Mogg War Marshal. Also pretty good start here. And then we move into the foil retro, common or uncommon. And then foil rare. And then the retro rare mythic, Zera Arian, nice, from way back in Legends. And then we get the non-foil borderless rare mythic, Sylvan Library, hits keep on coming. And then that sneak attack that we already gave away. All right, so these are your various slots. So again, you start with 5 traditional foil commons, 2 traditional foil uncommons, and then you get this very sweet retro frame foil basic land. And then there are 2 non-foil retro or borderless, so there can be borderless commons and uncommons in this slot here. And then here, this is the traditional foil retro. And then this is the non-special. This is the rare or mythic in traditional foil. You can tell I still need more coffee. The retro non-foil, and then the borderless non-foil rare mythic, and followed by the fancy slot. The fancy slot. When is this being released? It's being released next week on the 13th, Friday the 13th. Asking what was the news. There was no news. We just came back to work today. The only news I could have had, besides my need for coffee, is that we did show off one of the non-completed Planeswalkers over the holiday. So if you want to go look for Kaito, I believe it's Kaito the Dancing Shadow, that card is out there on the internet. It's on our Twitter account. All right, I'm gonna hide this. You know you're confusing your player base when you feel the need to explain what cards are in what slots during every release. We just feel that people should know what's in a pack so that they can make a decision. All right. Going from the back. All right. I'm going to do those. So, foil commons. Empty the Warrens. Hits keep coming. Momentary blank. Love it. Krosan Restorer. Undervalued card in Commander. Wild Dogs. That card used to be an actual competitive constructed card. Street Wraith. That card is a competitive constructed card. Night and Day. And Chainer's Edict. That's a pretty good one as well. And then we've got the basic land, the John Avon Plains. Fantastic. And then we've got a retro Gerard's Verdict. And a retro Ovenize. Love it. That card makes me smile. Retro foil Mindstone. That one's pretty great. Foil Denizen of the Deep. That takes you back. Retro non-foil Clifftop Retreat. Jester's Cap. Oh man, Jester's Cap. So I know these days this is not that hot a card, but back in the day, Jester's Cap was like the card from Ice Age. And if you watched our last episode, I just completed my Ice Age set. So I'm a bit of an Ice Age homer. And Jester's Cap was just the card to get. Also point out, art by Matt Cavada. Currently works at Wizards of the Coast. Helm of Awakening for the, so you can see you can get in the fancy slot, it's going to be foil, it can be retro, it can be full art. Helm of Awakening, spells cost 1 less to cast. I'm sure that card is up to just totally normal things. Jester's Cap, it is a weird reprint, but then you see people like me who it just brings all the feelings. Brings all the feelings, and that's what a lot of this set is. There's a lot of feelings for old school players, and a lot of discovery for new players. Cards that people didn't know existed. All right, so token Griffin. Gonna hide this so we don't accidentally reveal another sneak attack. It was appropriate at least. These are collector packs. All right, these are collector boosters. So Icarus, like we are going to do draft boosters as well after we get through this box. Drifting Meadow, Nightscape Familiar. Yeah, we'll do the draft boosters and we'll talk about the draft environment a little bit because this is a very draftable set. Foil Wild Regrowth, which is pretty great. And then Drawl News Crusade. And Spectral Links. And then, so Ironblood, I don't know where the collector boosters are printed. I will say, you'll notice I'm doing this backwards with the rare at the front. That tends to be a marker for something that's printed in one of our Japanese factories, but that does not, I say one of our partners, but I don't know that for a fact. And then we've got, oops, over here still, Retro Wild Growth. And then foil Factor Fiction with the great Slimefoot and Joyra art and flavor text. And then Forgotten Ancient. Mr. Baby Cakes was the name of this card when the community designed it, actually. That was I would think that was the first You Make the card. And then here's that regular art Jester's Cap with art by Jesper Icing. Decimate. I love how that one looks in the full bleed. And then, oh yes, foil Retro Absorb. Inject that directly into my blue-white playing veins. It's on the package where it's printed. That's good to know. Made in Japan. There you go. So yes, at least this box in particular that I'm opening is printed in Japan. All right. All right, cat. Zombie. All right, almost did it again. All right, Cackling Fiend. Hermetic Study. Juggernaut. Formerly banned card. And Urborg Uprising. Will this be available on Mitgo? I think so, but I'm not 100% sure. Off the top of my head. I could probably find out very easily. But it's a little difficult when I'm on air. John Avon Forest. That might be my favorite forest art. We've got the Retro Impulse. Retro Elvish Spirit Guide. We got a foil Retro White Mane Lion. Foil regular Oversold Cemetery. Arborea, one of the coolest and weirdest reprints in the set. Lotus Blossom in the full border. And Cryptic Gateway. Be honest, how many of you knew that Cryptic Gateway was a card that existed before this set? Vaguely, somewhere in the back of my head, I might have. It's not that there are too many products to know what will be on Mitgo. Wizards of the Coast does not run Mitgo anymore. Mitgo is run by Daybreak Games, and so I don't have the same information pipeline that I did when Wizards ran them, because it's no longer in-house. So it has nothing to do with the number of products we're putting out. It has to do with the fact that we don't run Magic the Gathering Online anymore. We certainly have a close partnership with Daybreak Games, but all right. All right, foil Impulse. Could you talk about the print run for Dominaria Remastered? Besides talking in generalities, we don't talk about print runs. Like, we don't say, the only things we'll say about print runs are this is limited or this is print to demand. This is not print to demand, but beyond that, we don't say we're printing X or it's more than this set or less than this set. Generally speaking, sometimes we do. All right, Spirit Monger. Poor guy, knocked down to uncommon. That used to be a terror. And that retro. Will there ever be reprints of Secret Lair artworks in normal supplemental sets? Never. I'm never going to say never about anything, but the whole idea with Secret Lair art is that they are unique to those drops. So I would call it unlikely. Unlikely. Siege Gang Commander. Lieutenant Kirtar. Oh, another Siege Gang Commander with the full extended art. And Test of Endurance in the foil retro frame. Used to have an Oloro deck, which that would have gone perfectly in, but not so much. Is there an Arena promo code this week? There is not. I know you can't say, but when are we going back to Lorwyn? I can't say. It's my favorite full art treatment this set. Ooh. Boy. I mean, I really like the Jester's Cap, and that's not just because Matt Cavada and I have played on the same soccer team. I really like this Decimate. I have to see it. I don't have one off the top of my head. So ask me again at the end of the stream. Spiritmonger's uncommon, but still, drafting that is, yeah. When will Splinter Twin be unbanned in Modern? Don't have that for you. Do not have that for you. Maybe never. Steve wants the test of endurance. Ooh, Fire Blast. I hate Fire Blast with every fiber of my being. I've lost that card way too many times. I did get to, Fire Blast, I did get to play in a Canadian Highlander tournament over the holidays. And I drew in the finals, which was great. But I definitely played against the same mono red opponent in the main part of the tournament. And then, okay, so here we haven't gotten one. I'm pausing my story. So you'll see we've mostly gotten retro here. That's normal. But you can get full art ones. So here is a full art High Tide, which a couple years ago, never thought I'd say that. But that is a gorgeous High Tide with art by Jeff Miracola. Anyway, almost knocked out of the tournament. If my opponent had Fire Blast at basically any of like 4 different turns, I would have died, but they didn't, so yay. Will there be new Plane Chase cards coming anytime soon? Who knows? Could be. Foil Retro Tiana, Ship's Caretaker. Foil Wrath of God. I mean, you take away that set symbol and that just looks like 7th edition. The nostalgia. Thopter. Did Magic play any part of my holiday break? It did. I played in a Canadian Highlander tournament. I played quite a bit of Arena Cube. Probably too much Arena Cube. Sulfuric Vortex. Ooh, full art Maze of Ith, followed by Nantuko Shade. Yeah, so I played in one in-person event, the Canadian Highlander event. I played 4-color, no white pile. Deck list is on my Twitter account. And then, yeah, played a bunch of Arena Cube. I played some Alchemy as well. And, yeah, played a bit after the reset the other day. Playing Esper and Alchemy. All right. Festering, I know that maze, right? Mark Tadine. Foil Frantic Search. Phyrexian Ghoul. Radiance Judgment. Solar Blast. Played quite a bit of Solar Blast in my day. Foil Nature's Lore. This card. I thought this card was so good back when it was released in Visions. It turns out returning 3 basic lands to your hand is a lot, especially for a 0/1 that costs 3 mana and needs to tap to do its thing. Still, really cool card. I'd love to make it work. There are ways to make it work, getting extra land drops, that sort of thing. But if you're having to use Fast Bond and Concordant Crossroads to make this a real card, you probably have other options. Still, love it. All right. Eric Peterson Plains. Maybe the greatest Plains art in the game, subjectively speaking. We got a Chain Lightning. We got a Dark Withering. We got a foil Spirit Link. Sure, Glint Eye. 4-color, no white. Glint Eye. Foil Entomb. Not going to say no to that. Retro Worldly Tutor. Yes, please. two Maze of Iths. I'm not going to say no to that either. All right. Oh, and a foil borderless last chance. Let's see. All right. Favorite full art so far. I think we're still in Decimate Jester's Cap space for favorite art. Are you keeping the cards? I tend to give some out. I keep some. I give some out to my team. I ask people what they want. And then anything I or the team don't want, we put on the Wizards of the Coast free table. All right. The Venomancer makes that sheep. Sheep. Bah. Yeah, that's how much coffee I need. I'm making animal sounds at 10:20 in the morning. All right. Break Asunder. Duress. Leaden Fists. Nomad Decoy. Werebear with the correct flavor text. Crop Rotation. That's a good one. Canlander approved. Was in my Canlander deck. Slice and Dice. This Slice and Dice looks really good in foil. Yeah, Slice and Dice looks real good on it. Any job opportunities on your team? Asking your friend. Actually, yes, we are. My team, if you want to work specifically on my team, which, hey, why wouldn't you? We're great, is hiring an influencer manager. So that job is posted. I believe I put it up on Twitter at some point. I know, I make so many animal sounds for my kids, but yeah, I don't know. There was I did watch this funny YouTube video that was just about why we decided animal sounds were one of the first things that kids needed to learn. And the more I think about it, I don't understand it. Like, it's not a useful skill for my kid to know what sound an owl makes. But that's what we decided, that's what we're going with. Force of Will, a little casual retro Force of Will right there. Art by Donato. Arborea. Got to put Arborea into some deck. And then foil retro opposition. Cube staple. Yeah, the retro border does work really well for Drib turn. Do you have any part in the Magic TikTok account? So the Magic TikTok account is an arena TikTok account. I do not personally have any part in that, but we are exploring the possibility of a brand Magic TikTok account that my team would then run. Then I would have something to do with it. All right. Goblin Turncoat, Cloud of Fairies, Jalem Tome, Mystic Zealot, Smoldering Crater. Caldera, Valduk. Tri-lands before we had Tri-lands. One of the nice things about these, though, is they do come into play untapped. So there's that at least. There is that. They're a little weird, but there's uses. Sweet Plains. The green cat token is a 2/1. So that, I believe, is made by Penumbra Bobcat. Look at my Magic knowledge reaching deep there. Pretty sure the only 2/1 cat in the game is made by Penumbra Bobcat. Could be wrong, but Juggernaut. Yeah, 2/1 cat token. Yeah, 2/1 Penumbra Bobcat. And then we get we're over here, foil High Tide. Just all the High Tides. Yeah, the artwork in this set is incredible. Got a regular foil World Gorger Dragon. Another Sylvan Library. Yeah, this is a, yes, this is black. It looks green because the background is green. I dissect this cat token. And then Denizen of the Deep. That art's fantastic as well. And then Umbilicus. Weird card. Also brings me back. I remember trying to make that card work back in the day. Just a weird card. Glad to see it again. Yeah, that foil High Tide is great. Yeah, Juggernaut 8 common. How far we've come. How far we have come. Alright, Zombie. Sheep. Alright. Elvish Aberration. Giant Spider. Mog War Marshal. Savannah Lions. Just, I will point out, like, it would not be a Dominaria set without Giant Spider and Savannah Lions. Sunclasp. Even Fate Shaper. Invigorating Boon. Moving on to the sweet foil retro lands. Swamp. We got a Seer. We got a Tiana. Foil Peregrine Drake. There's not that anybody's staring at the commons, but they are a little under my face. Do you have a favorite card or favorite printing from the set so far? You know, it's kind of an individual card. I don't know that I do. It's the set as a whole, because this is it feels like when I started playing is, I guess, the best way to put it. Although that Entomb's pretty sweet. And foil retro Overmaster. I'm a really big fan of the retro frames. That's my jam. So I really like anything that looks good in the retro frame, which is pretty much all of it. I do really like full borderless art. The Jester's Cap, man. The Jester's Cap for so long represented, for me, the chase card. That and Balduvian Horde. Both have seen better days. But that, when I started playing Magic, represented like the pinnacle of cards to collect. And so Balduvian Horde is not in this set. They did Balduvian Horde dirty back in 25th anniversary edition. It wasn't called that, but you get the idea. When they made Balduvian Horde common. At least Jester's Cap, they kept it rare. All right. Evil Eye Orms by Gore. Emerald Charm. Ridgetop Raptor. Penumbra Bobcat. There's our Penumbra Bobcat. I have too many magic facts in my head. Other thing dads do is sing songs randomly. I sang a song about brushing teeth the other day. Completely made it up. It was terrible. I did a little dance. It was embarrassing. I'm glad my kids are only not even yet 2 and won't remember it. Yeah, we all kind of have that card. Sarah Angel was the card that hooked Wormbane into Magic back in high school. And yeah, I don't know what card specifically hooked me. It might have been Skeleton Ship from Ice Age. Nice retro Sulfur Falls there. Skeleton Ship was in the first starter pack of cards I got, and so it holds a dear place in my heart. Mystical Tutor, Borderless, and Helm of Awakening in the retro. So that just goes to show as well, there are both the retro and the full art versions of cards in that same slot. All right, last one in this one, and then we'll do some draft boosters. Opposition's an amazing card draft. It's also a great cube card. As long as it's a relatively high-powered cube where you don't mind people getting locked out of the game, because that's what opposition does. But certainly for things like the Mitgo Vintage Cube, for other high-powered cubes, opposition's a really great inclusion. All right. Dark Ritual from Beta. Nice. Oops, I went the wrong way. Oh well, Oversold Cemetery. Full art, foil, Oversold Cemetery. Another blast from the past that I love is in set. All right, Avarax. Battlefield Scrounging. Deicide and Godsend, nice. I mean, the thing about Deicide and Godsend is they tell a story, right? Those two cards together tell a story. Ooh, Call of the Herd, former rare and tournament staple. And so I totally get those hooking you because it's right there. She used Godsend to commit Deicide. And to see those together shows you not only it tells the story, but it shows that the set has this cohesion where you'll see pieces of the story on different cards. So I totally get that. Oh, Blake, was Ixalan really postponed to 2024? I have no idea what you're talking about. Peregrine Drake, White Mane Lion, Mesa Enchantress in foil retro, like that. Little Jester's Cap. Retro Sneak Attack, non-foil. And, oh, Windborn Muse. That art's pretty great, too. Ron Spears. You know, I love Decimate. I love Jester's. So back to the question about which full art I like most. I completely forgot, I didn't forget, but at the time wasn't thinking about the fact that Richard Kane Ferguson did the Tudors. So the Tudors are going to be pretty high up on my list. All right, let's pick these up. We're going to do some draft packs, both to see what's in those and just have some fun looking at the draft environment and what that's like. All right. And then if we have time, we'll bounce back to collector boosters before the end. Part of me wants to get the plastic off the wrapping before we do this on stream, but then I absolutely 100% know when I open good packs, people would accuse us of stacking the packs. I don't want to deal with that. So instead, I'm going to rip the box live on air. And then, okay, so when we're talking draft, draft box comes with this nice little insert that tells you what they are. So blue, white, blink, big fan of that. Blue, black, madness, black, red, goblins and zombies, red, green, cycling, white, green, threshold, black, white, life gain and loss, blue, red, storm, black, green, recursion, red, white, auras, and green, blue, ramp. So those are the archetypes we're working with. The mat is cool. Where'd we get it? I actually don't know. I actually do not know. Producer Sean put this out here. Okay, so before we open this, we do have a graphic showing what is in a Dominaria Remastered booster. Again, you can find this on dailymtg.com in the Collecting Dominaria Remastered booster. Collecting Dominaria Remastered article. There we go. Still going to have more coffee when I get off this show. All right, so rare mythic in either regular retro or borderless treatment, a traditional foil of any rarity, or a retro common and uncommon. It's worth noting that those two slots are connected, so you will always get a retro card in your Dominaria Remastered draft booster. And it could be the rare mythic, it could be that other slot there. And then you get three uncommon, 9 commons, and then the non-foil retro basic land. All right, so let's look at this. What is my coffee of choice? I'm not a style. I tend to drink mochas. I don't have any sort of brand allegiance or anything like that. I just kind of drink whatever's around. We have a coffee machine on the first floor that, anyway, that makes, it's not a mocha, but it's got milk in it. All right. So, Juggernaut, Polluted Mire, Mindstone. Mindstone's a pretty, like, if we're going to end up in the commons, Mindstone's a pretty solid, generic first pick. Oh, man, Sequatl Lancer brings me back. That brings me back. Sequatl Lancer, flanking back in the day, might as well have said unblockable. So, Sequatl Lancer had a bit of a reputation as kind of a mini ball lightning. 3 mana, it would always get 6 damage in. Cloud of Fairies, pretty busted in any constructed format. Velvet Keeper of the Flame, so there's that red-white auras archetype right there. Spite Malice, Really good if you're going to go black-blue control. Obviously, you can play it in just blue decks or just black decks, but it's best in blue-black decks. Drowner's Crusade, so that's that's the card that really ties together the zombie goblin archetype, because it makes all your goblin zombies. And then we got Arcade Sabbath, and then we got a Retro Street Wraith, and then we got Island. I'm not first picking an Arcade Sabbath under any circumstance. That's just not happening. Man. Yeah, it is cool. That happened actually before talking about the retro frames coming back. Before even I knew that retro frames were coming back, I built a commander deck that was blue-white. It was just all old frame cards, and then I never thought I'd be adding new cards to it. All right, so honestly, this pack, I think I'm taking the Mind Stone. Cloud of Fairies is pretty solid. Squaddle Lancer, like I said, it's kind of unblockable, and I could see taking that. The thing with that is it's not, it doesn't fit great into any specific archetype. Red-green is cycling, blue-red storm, black-red is goblins and zombies. It fits fine. It's a good thing to slap an aura on in red-white auras, but if I'm going to go red-white auras, I'm looking at Valuk or Auramancer. Cloud of Fairies is solid. Spite Malice is probably the most powerful card. Mind Stone keeps me the most open. So I would probably take Mind Stone. I wouldn't fault anyone for taking Spite Malice and diving into black-blue. I probably also wouldn't fault someone for taking Dralnu's Crusade if they just really wanted to do that, because Dralnu's Crusade, probably more than any gold card, really ties together that archetype. So if you want to go into black-red goblins and zombies, if that's your jam, like I would just take that right off the bat. But yeah, Mind Stone or Spite Malice, I think, are the top two picks. Yeah, I really like Squaddle Lancer, but I don't think it fits into anything but a red-white. It fits well. I mean, you can play it in any red deck. So here's that 2/2 cat token. So this is what the 2/2 cat token looks like. These are not double same. All right. Commons. Polluted Mire, Solar Blast, Slippery Karst, Momentary Blink, Skirk Prospector, Giant Spider, Impulse, Festering Goblin, Aven Fate Shaper. There's that Spirit Monger. Trevor. Okay. Yeah, that's a full art Richard Kane Ferguson Force of Will. Cool. We did it. So we would take the Force of Will. It's fine in draft. It's not amazing. But come on, Richard Kane Ferguson Force of Will. Okay. So let's put that aside for a second and say that, let's say that this is pack 2. So here, a couple good options. I would say Solar Blast is the best and most flexible. Spirit Monger is very, very strong. It does put you in black-green. So let's say that this is second pick. This isn't in the pack. We took Mind Stone with the first pick. If we took Mind Stone with the first pick, my pick here would probably be Solar Blast, followed by Spirit Monger, I think is where I would go. Now, let's look at the other options. So, of our first 3 picks. So, if I first pick Mind Stone, probably Solar Blast, maybe Spirit Monger. And then, now, if I took Spite Malice, on the other hand, I'm probably looking at Impulse to go into black-blue control. If I took Dralnu's Crusade, probably taking Festering Goblin. So since it has both that zombie and goblin creature type. It's a little more generally useful than Skirk Prospector. I do like Skirk Prospector, but you know, you're not necessarily comboing off, which is where Skirk Prospector shines. But I think that's kind of my pick order there. Yeah, Spirit Monger just it seems kind of unbeatable. My only hesitation is getting committed to one particular color. Set that Boar's Will aside. Yeah, Impulse or Spirit Monger, depending on what we take. All right, put that aside. All right, we've got Dragon Engine, Juggernaut, Krosan Restorer, Chain Lightning, Early Frontrunner, Snap, Goblin Turncoat, Cleric of the Forward Order, Everex, Wild Dogs, Slice and Dice, Dragonblood, Improvised Armor. We got a full art Siege Gang Commander, Terror, Retro Mountain. Whew. I was gonna say it was an easy Chain Lightning, but then Slice and Dice, that's a Wrath at uncommon and also happens to fit in the cycling archetype. Oh, but then there's a Siege Gang Commander. I think so here's the tough thing about this pick. If you take Siege Gang Commander, you are almost certainly passing Chain Lightning and Slice and Dice as the next picks. So you could try to avoid that and stay out of red. That said, like those are the top three picks. After that, I mean, Terror's good, certainly, but I don't think it's good enough to pass Siege Gang Commander. Siege Gang Commander, again, if you're talking about that black-red zombies goblin deck, does a lot of sacrificing. It's basically the perfect, most powerful card for that. So I think I would take a Siege Gang Commander. You could, you know, if you don't want to end up in black-red zombies, you could argue that Slice and Dice or Chain Lightning serve better purposes in other decks. But yeah, the people right next to you are going to be in red. It's just the 3 red cards are so much better than everything else. I'm not even sure. Snap's pretty good. Snap, Cloud of Fairies. You know, we haven't talked about the blue-red Storm archetype much. That one's going to be tricky to put together. It's definitely built into the set. It's definitely a thing you can do. I would tend to not take those cards that are very Storm-focused early unless you already have one of the big reasons to be in Storm, which hopefully we'll see at some point. Just all the red cards. Okay, for me, best cards here are Manowar, Voice of All, Spirit Link, Gem Home Incinerator. I'm a little hesitant on Sulfuric Vortex. You have to be pretty aggressive. The life gain isn't going to matter as much in draft, and it's a little harder to set up your deck. I mean, if you want to be all Sulfuric Vortexes and Squad of Lancers, you can certainly give that a try. Gem Home Incinerator obviously is amazing in the zombies, goblins list. Manowar is Manowar, and we know that those bounce creatures are always strong, especially when there's a white-red auras archetype. The thing I like about Spirit Link is it also doubles as sort of pseudo removal. It's cheap, it fits into the white-red archetype really well. Because it doesn't give the creature life link, it has a triggered ability that gains you life when it hits. As long as the creature's not dealing you lethal damage, you can leave it unblocked and it essentially doesn't do anything. Voice of All is pretty strong. This is a 2-color format, so you can have a creature that essentially has protection from half their deck. Let's see. Yeah, let's see if we can find one of those Storm finishers to talk about that archetype. I am excited to draft this set. It's a really cool set. It has a cube feel to it. A lot of the archetypes built into it are, you know, kind of traditional cube archetypes. Things like Storm, Cycling, blue-green ramp all the time. Squirrel's Nest, Overmaster, Phyrexian Debaser. All right, so we don't have to consider the rare. The rare is fine. This is a card you would play in the Storm archetype because it's cheap and it draws a card. The counter doesn't matter a ton. Chain Lightning and Counterspell are straight up the most powerful cards. Squirrel's Nest is fine, but doesn't have any like amazing combos in the set. So I would say Nightscape Familiar is a card that goes into the Storm deck. It is not a card I would first pick unless I was just absolutely hell-bent on drafting the Storm archetype. So I think here Chain Lightning is the cleanest and probably best first pick. I wouldn't fault anyone for taking Counterspell as well. Yeah, I think that's where I'd go. I think that's where I'd end up. All right, we'll do maybe one or two more of these and then head back to collector boosters to round out the stream. Is green, black, an archetype in this format? Yes, every two-color archetype, every two-color pair is a draft archetype in this format. All right, Goblin Matron. I have not drafted Dominaria Remastered internally, so I don't have any cool stories, unfortunately. There was a time in my career at Wizards where I got to draft and play a lot more. I just don't have the time these days. Floodgate, Nut Collector, Swamp. All right, so first picks here. Matron is really good in the Goblin Zombie archetype. Nut Collector, Floodgate, Wild Growth. So there's nothing incredible in this pack. I'm going to say... let's see. Yeah, I mean, I would say that this pack's a little on the weaker side, probably. So, Floodgate, what you may not realize is Floodgate works when you blink it, which is why it's in this set, besides the nostalgia factor. So, you can blink it and deal, and basically have it be a wrath that happens, or like a mini pyroclasm, depending on how many islands you're playing, that happens with some regularity. So, it's actually pretty powerful. Nut Collector, obviously, really strong. It is for 6 mana, probably a bit slow. I don't know that, I mean, when it dies to Spark Spray immediately, don't know that I'd first pick it. Wild Growth is just the cheapest version of an effect for several archetypes. So Wild Growth, really strong. Goblin Matron, really strong. I think personal play preference, I would take Floodgate, but I wouldn't fault anyone for taking Wild Growth or Goblin Matron. Yeah, if you have Squirrel's Nest, if this was second pick and you had Squirrel's Nest and Nut Collector came along, I'd start considering it. All right, one more of these, and then we will go back to collector boosters. So I'm still hoping to open that pack that says, hey, go Storm. Go Storm. All right, Primal Boost, Urborg Uprising, Dragon Engine, Subterranean Scout, Sandstorm, Frantic Search. So Frantic Search is the first, I would say, kind of premium Storm card we've seen. It's a common. You can get a bunch of them. So, okay, so there's a High Tide. Illusion Reality, the Rare's Land. Okay, so in this case, I think your picks are either Call of the Herd, Call of the Herd, Spirit Link, Phyrexian Ghoul are all sort of defensible. Phyrexian Ghoul because it is a zombie that is a free sacrifice outlet. But I think here I'd be interested in taking High Tide, kind of seeing what happens. Yeah, I think that's where I'd go. All right. Okay. Let's go back to collector boosters, because collector boosters are fun. We got about 10 minutes left in the stream, then we're going to call it. So, what you probably don't know about this stream is that this stream is our 199th episode of Weekly MTG. Snuck up on me. So, next week is our 200th episode. And for that, of course, we had to do something special. So we are bringing back original co-host Steve Sunu to do the show with me. He is working at Wizards again. And while he's not going to be joining the show regularly, he is coming back for the 200th episode. And he's planning the show. I don't really know what's going to happen. It's anybody's guess. Well, it's Steve and producer Sean's guess. They know what's going on. It will be fun. We do know that. Yeah, 200th episode, huge milestone for us. Let's see, keep that there. You know, we started this as just kind of another way to talk to all of you, the fans, and it's definitely done that. But you know, certainly when I kicked it off, it wasn't, I never had 200 episodes in my site, so yay, 200. Swamp, Wild Growth, Gerard's Verdict, got some foil retro Wild Dogs, Cryptic Gateway, oh, Royal Assassin, Windborn Muse, Denizen of the Deep, Cat token, 2/2 cat token, 3/3 elephant. Can we get a Blake TikTok of you opening draft packs and talking about your picks? Man, I am too old to be on TikTok. It definitely makes sense for the brand to be there. I am too old for that. But sure, you know what? Actually, we probably will. I say that, and one of the things we've been talking about for TikTok is taking some content from Weekly MTG, since we have this hour-long stream, and cutting it down. And one of the things we actually did talk about was the pack openings are, you know, great. Just show a pack opening. Okay, empty the warrant. See, there are storm cards on this side. And doing the pack openings into short TikToks. I have to be way more entertaining, and I'm not. But that is one of the things we talked about. So I kind of poo-pooed it right off the bat, but it is actually probably something that will happen. Maverick Girl, yeah, it's yours. I don't know how we're going to get it to you, but sure. I'm still up here. Goblin Matron, little casual foil Force of Will. We have 3 Force of Wills in this video. Ooh, Urza Lord High Artificer. I'm gonna set that aside for Maverick Girl. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. You can TikTok your toothbrush dance. My toothbrush dance was not for public consumption. I'm embarrassed my 23-month-old kids saw it. All right, Oromancer, Horseshoe Crab, Obsessive Search, Phantom Flock, Solar Blast, Floodgate, Stand and Deliver. Got about 6 minutes left. Thanks this week in MTG. I like to think I'm entertaining in a sort of watch that guy spew sort of way. Chainer Master Dementia, Saproling Symbiosis. Oh man, that card's great. Test of Endurance. Oh, Kamal. Foil Retro Kamal. That makes me happy. If I go undefeated in DMR draft, TikTok dance. Undefeated over what? I would not go undefeated in DMR draft unless I played like one DMR draft. All right. Cat, zombie. All right. Grape Shot, there's another Storm card. But as you can see, this set is just packed with really good cards, tons of nostalgia, fantastic art. It's my favorite release of 2023 so far. I did, before the break, talk a little bit about what sets I was most excited for in 2023. That's my one, 2023 just started joke. But DMR is up there. DMR, Mom, and Lord of the Rings are the three that I am most excited for in 2023. Now, part of that is I haven't looked a ton at the sets at the end of the year. Ooh, Foil Exploration. That's not bad. Glory. But super excited for DMR, super excited for Mom. One is great, but it really feels like everything comes together in Mom. And then Lord of the Rings is just amazing. Lord of the Rings is, I can't talk it up enough. Birds of Paradise, Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth is the full set. That's a fantastic Birds of Paradise. And then Sarah Avatar, nice. Yeah, Maverick Girl, I'll have someone on a team message you. We'll figure out a way to get it to you. Squirrel, Insect. All right. Acre Slick, Drifting Meadows, Mystic Zealot, Primal Boost, White Mane Lion, Dark Withering, Spiritmonger. Do you and your team have any goals you'd like to achieve in Magic this year? Yes, we do. Am I going to share them in the last 4 minutes of the stream? Probably not. Not enough time to talk about that. We do. We do. Some are internal, some are external. Time stretch. How to make opponents salty in Commander. Urza's Incubator. All right, we got time for one more pack. Yeah, so much that I want for Commander that I haven't had access to before now. There are a ton of cards in this set that are getting first-time reprints. Arborea, I guarantee you that there will be players who discover that cards exist at all from this set, and the cards will be, decades old in some instances. Howl from Beyond, for example. Goblin Medics, for example, card I didn't know existed until just now. I don't know everything about Magic. All right, we gotta end on the best island, the Mark Poole Island. All right, Frantic Search. Empty the Warrens in the retro frame. Nice little pairing there. Invigorating Boon. Lotus Blossom. Joriel. Denizen of the Deep. And Rith the Awakener. All right, we are going to end there. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and hanging out while we opened some DMR packs and kind of eased our way back into 2023. I know this was a good show for our producer Sean and I to start on, and it sets us up nicely for our 200th episode of Weekly MTG next week, with former co-host Steve Sunu coming back and kind of running the show. I kind of know what's happening. I don't really know what's happening. I sort of know what's happening. But we're going to find out together next week. So please tune in next week. And then after that, the week following, so on the 17th, is going to be the debut for Phyrexia All Will Be One. So you will definitely want to tune in for that. That's where we unwrap everything coming in Phyrexia All Will Be One. Certainly pay attention. Starting next week, when the story for Phyrexia All Will Be One starts kicking off, we might show some cards. There might be some story relevant cards that get shown off. We still need to know what happens with all those planeswalkers. Who gets Phyrexianized? Who makes it through unscathed? Tune in next week for that. Otherwise, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.